June 7, 2017, Travels with Phil continues. I'm at the park headquarters here at the Grand Teton National Park. That's the Snake River behind me. And with me is Public Affairs Officer Denise German. Hi.
Hi.
We have got a lot of water flowing through all the rivers that are coming through here. What's going on?
We got a lot of snow this winter, so slowly all of that snow is melting and it's filling the rivers and the creeks and the streams and sometimes the areas outside of those areas.
Is this unusual this time of year? Is it usually earlier, or is this just more rain, runoff, or what is it?
I think it's a little unusual this year because of the amount of snow melt that we've got, which is creating much more water.
Now, the park here, most people know about it, come out here and visit during the summer times. How much of the park is actually open during the winter when the really heavy snows come through here?
Well, the entire park is open all year long.
Right.
It's access to various areas. So in the wintertime, it's a winter's paradise. So if you like cross-country skiing, downhill skiing, backcountry skiing, skate skiing, snowshoeing, it's a winter's paradise.
All right, but not a lot of hiking and picnicking going on necessarily.
No, not the same as you would find in the summertime.
Well, now, what's the most common question you get from visitors here to the park, or some of the most common questions?
So probably one of the most common is, where's the wildlife?
Right.
Where can I go to find a moose? Where can I see an elk? I'd like to see a grizzly bear. So fortunately, Grand Teton is an intact ecosystem. We've got lots of wildlife, a lot of that big elk and moose and bear. So it's very memorable when you're traveling at Grand Teton National Park and you get to see wildlife.
Now, what are some of the rarest wildlife or forms of wildlife here?
Well, I don't know about rarest.
Perhaps endangered.
Endangered. We've got the grizzly bear.
Right.
And I think Grand Teton is one of the places that you're more apt to see a grizzly bear. For example, this spring, many visitors are seeing mama grizzlies with their twin cubs, which is just a sight to see.
I heard about that just yesterday over toward the meadows, the lupine meadows. Somebody said they saw a bear with two cubs.
Yep, that could be.
Yep. All right. What is the most misunderstood thing about, or misconceptions about Grand Teton? Or are there any? People come in, well, I thought there was going to be a fill in the blank. And, oh, no, that's not here, or we don't have that kind of thing.
I think maybe there's a misconception with National Park Service in general. So not just Grand Teton, but National Park Service in general. So when you're coming to some place like Grand Teton, that this is your land. This is public land.
Right.
It's managed for conservation to be here for you and for your grandkids and their grandkids. And it's always a good reminder to let people remind them of that or make them aware of that.
So once you pay to get in the park, you've paid to get into the park.
Exactly.
Except for a few things like lunch.
Perhaps lunch might be something different, correct.
Now, how many people visit annually?
So for the last 3 years, we've had record visitation. And last year, we had about 4.3 million visitors. That's a record visitation. And every year for the last 3 years, we've seen more visitors. So I think just visiting national parks in general is becoming more popular.
Right.
The centennial of the National Park Service last year, I think, helped create some awareness.
And maybe even lower gas prices.
And perhaps lower gas prices.
Now, how many full-time personnel do you have as opposed to people who come in just for the summertime rush?
You bet. We've got about 165 full-time year-round employees, and we bring on anywhere from 250 to 300 seasonal employees. So we work with seasonals a lot. They are the back of the park in some regards.
Now, looking at the river here, this is the Snake River, correct?
Correct.
Lots of little creeks out here, so you got to be careful. This is very, very brown. Is it normally this brown, or is this part of that runoff issue?
This is all part of the runoff. So we've got so much water moving through, it's picking up a lot of the sediment. No, that happens. That's a normal thing to happen in the spring when you've got runoff and so much water running through. When you come back, you'll see crystal clear water. Just beautiful mountain water.
I have. So, well, we're just over at Schwabacher's Landing, and the Snake River part was this color, but just literally you could see a spot where right there, it's gray on the left hand, brown on the left hand side, and clear on the right hand side, where another freshwater creek came in and joined the Snake. Anything else you can think of? Would you like people to know?
If you have not been to Grand Teton National Park, please visit. It's one of those iconic parks. It's absolutely beautiful. It's an intact ecosystem. And if it's not Grand Teton, visit any national park. They're all special treasures across the country.
Well, I know Grand Teton is one of my favorite places, and that's why I'm back here again. Thank you very much. Travels with Phil will continue. Okay, if you can say your name for me and that I have permission to use this for broadcast, please.
Denise German, Public Affairs Officer, and you have permission to use this.
Very good. Thank you very much. Oops. Well, I'm getting